Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Fund passed. Premier awaits AGONG'S decision. And GRSGN increased political tension in Sabah. Bringing you the eye on the news tonight, you're now with me, Shal Shamato, and this is TVS Nightline. The Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund Board 2023 was unanimously passed on the second day of the 19th State Legislative Assembly Dun sitting on Tuesday, November 22nd. The bill was tabled by the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng, and it was debated by several honourable members. Abang Johari stated that the bill seeks to establish the Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund in order to maximise returns from the state's surplus capital reserves through investment.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund will also sustain the financial fiscal position of the state via revenue diversification and the creation of reserves, replacing oil and gas revenue in years to come. He said this will further strengthen the state's financial sustainability and enable it to meet any future eventualities.
Based on our planning now, with the new stream of revenue, based on our new economy, including hydrogen, including new technology, there is a potential that Sarawak will get extra revenue. What are you going to do with this revenue? Are you going to spend all? No. We must also take into consideration the future, because the revenue that we got now is non-renewable. Oil and gas is depleting resource, but you have to find new resource. Now people are talking about renewable energy, and we got that resource and technology. And therefore, I feel in future we got extra stream of revenue, and we must save part of this revenue for future generation of Sarawak.
Abang Johari said countries that have established sovereign wealth funds like Norway, Singapore, and England are also members of the International Forum of Sovereign Wealth Funds. Adding that members of this forum, these countries are required to adhere to international best practices, including the generally accepted principles and practices for sovereign wealth funds.
Of course, there's a risk there of abuse, but we want to curtail that abuse by placing layers of check and balance. And our fund is to be reported to this day one, the paramount check and balance. If there is an abuse, if there is an abuse, then day one can check it, and we have a select committee to find out the result of it. And these are the reason why we have to use the Santiago principle, and we are going to be a member of forum, Sovereign Fund Forum in London, so that we are being checked by the international body based on the international principle of Santiago.
At the same time, Abang Johari stated that the establishment of a sovereign wealth fund will meet the purposes of converting non-renewable assets to financial assets, investing for the future through forced savings, and securing the continued growth of financial reserves through diversified investments.
Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS Chairman Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng awaits the Yang Dipertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah's decision to determine the next step in regards to forming a new government. The Sarawak Premier explained that he was occupied with his duties during the State Legislative Assembly and wasn't able to follow up with the political situation in Peninsula.
Tengoklah, saya belum tahu keputusan agung. Tunggu dulu. Okey.
So, lepas ni ada pengalaman tak? Okey,
Tak tahu, tak tahu. Saya lagi di dewan.
Previously, GPS expressed their agreement in working together with Perikatan Nasional (PN), Barisan Nasional (BN), and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah (GRS) to form a new federal government. However, the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, who is also UMNO Vice President, has stated the Barisan Nasional will not support any coalition to form the government and agree to remain as an opposition party.
Trouble is brewing in the Gabungan Rakyat Sabah Barisan Nasional GRS-BN coalition over who to back at the federal level. Sabah BN Chief Datuk Seri Bung Mokhtar Radin said GRS had broken its pre-polling agreement with the state BN. This was after GRS Chief Datuk Seri Haji Noor had stated that the coalition's 6 members of parliament MP in Sabah would back Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as the 10th Prime Minister. Now on the line we have Amirul Mukminin live from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
Thank you, Cheryl. Tonight we're live from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. So today for the updates is about the trouble brewing in Sabah as Haji Noor declared war on state BN. This we can see that the rise of tension of politics in Sabah right now has become aware of the red zone. We can see that trouble brewing in the Gabungan Rakyat Sabah Barisan Nasional GRS-BN coalition over who to back at federal level. Bung Mokhtar Radin said today GRS has broken its pre-polling agreement with the state BN. This was after GRS Chief Datuk Seri Haji Noor has stated that the coalition's 6 member of Parliament MP in Sabah will back Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as the 10th Prime Minister. Also, Bung Mokhtar Radin also quoted that Haji did not call BN or discuss with BN about GRS support for Perikatan. That we had an agreement that GRS will support Barisan. Haji has broken the deal by giving support to Perikatan Nasional. This means war on Sabah. Before the nomination for the 15th general election, the PAC GRS will contest 13 while BN goes for 12 parliament seats. Right now, with the hung parliament, Haji and the PKDM President Datuk Seri Peter Anthony, and also 2 candidates are already seen Tan Sri Muhyiddin on Monday. That this would say, Bung Mokhtar said the picture of their meeting was circulated online, showing that GRS has broken agreement with BN. The Kinabatangan MP said was likely affect their relationship in the state government level. But the question is, will be Sabah future politics will be ruined by this war declared by GRS? Get back to you, Cheryl. Thank you.
Right, and that was Amirul Mukminin live from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. Thank you, Amirul, for that update on the heated state's political situation. And tomorrow we will be anticipating more on the decision from the coalition. Now moving on to the next news. An amendment to the state constitution that seeks to prohibit party hopping from assemblymen has been passed at the State Legislative Assembly during sitting today. Deputy Minister in the Premier Sarawak's Department for Law, MA63, and State-Federal Relations, Dato' Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali said it was necessary for the state constitution to be amended after Parliament passed the Constitution Amendment Bill 2022 on July 28th last year.
Hasidah pointed out that the federal bill had amended the 8th schedule of the federal constitution, which must be complied with by all, including the Sarawak Constitution.
On 28 July 2022, Parliament passed the Constitution Amendment Number 3 Bill 2022 to, among others, amend the 8th schedule of the federal constitution. The 8th schedule is an essential provision, which means that this provision must be strictly complied by all written laws, including our state constitution. As the amendment is in the essential provisions under the 8th schedule of the federal constitution, it is necessary for the state constitution to have a similar provision or one having substantially the same effect and not inconsistent with the essential provision as provided under Article 71, bracket 4 of the Federal Constitution.
The Electronic Sarawak Government Activities Bill was unanimously passed in the State Legislative Assembly Dun on Tuesday. The bill aims to provide the necessary legal framework to become e-enabled without the need for further amendments to other states. Tabled by Utility and Telecommunication Minister Dr. Julaihi Narawi, intends to facilitate Sarawak's digital transformation under both the Sarawak Digital Transformation Strategy in both Sarawak Digital Economy Strategy 2018 to 2022 and the Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030 or PCDS 2030.
Has identified a digital transformation as one of the 7 enablers which support the 6 economic sectors. To accelerate digital transformation, the government aims to provide 100% end-to-end digital government services.
Julaihi also expressed the importance of Sarawak to have its own law providing legal recognition to the use of electronic means in government service delivery.
For example, signature can be attached electronically in the form of electronic signature or digital signature. Documents can be submitted electronically through e-filing. Documents can be served electronically through email, etc.
He added that with the passing of the bill, the embracement of digitalization in government service delivery will be made possible.
The proposed 5-year work permit for expatriates has been implemented through the consideration of the Localisation Committee. Deputy Minister in the Premier of Sarawak's Department for Labour, Immigration and Project Monitoring, Dato' Garawat Gala said, priority will be given to those who can contribute to Sarawak's development and economy. Nevertheless, each application will be given consideration based on a set of criteria.
PAS penggazian selama 5 tahun bagi ekspatriat adalah khusus kepada golongan profesional dan pakar teknikal yang bekerja dalam sektor industri tenaga dan sektor digital di Sarawak.
He said during the question and answer session at the Sarawak Legislative Assembly today, November 22nd. Adding further, Garawat said the set of criteria for the professional and technical experts include having recognized expertise and academic qualification.
Pemohon mestilah memiliki kepakaran serta mempunyai kelayakan akademik yang diiktiraf. Kedua, pengalaman kerja dalam bidang berkaitan. Ketiga, mempunyai kontrak kerja tidak kurang daripada 5 tahun. Dan keempat, gaji asas tidak kurang daripada RM3,000. Permohonan untuk menggaji golongan tersebut hendaklah dikemukakan kepada pejabat Immigration Malaysia Sarawak yang terdekat untuk diproses dan seterusnya dibentang dalam jawatan kuasa lokalisasi bagi pertimbangan dan keputusan.
During IDEX 2022, Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said that the 5-year work permit is only for professionals in strategic sectors and that it will be for the entire 5 years with no need to renew annually.
Sarawak Alternative Water Supply SAWAS project is currently ongoing in Lingga district. According to Deputy Minister of Utility and Telecommunication Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, the project has reached 10% of its physical completion.
Abdul Rahman Junaidi said the project is being implemented in Banting under the Bukit Bergunan State Constituency.
Projek Sarawak Alternative Water Supply ataupun SAWAS tidak ada dilaksanakan di kawasan Dun Lingga. Namun demikian hanya ada satu projek SAWAS yang dilaksanakan dalam daerah Lingga. Daerah Lingga ada satu, iaitu dalam Dun Bukit Bangunan. Projek SAWAS ini setakat ini dalam pelaksanaan dan telah mencapai kemajuan fizikal sebanyak 10% dan dijangka siap pada awal tahun 2024.
He said this in response to a question posed by Lingga Assemblywoman Dayang Norazah Awang Sohor during the State Legislative Assembly sitting in Kuching today. Abdul Rahman Junaidi added that Maludam and Triso are also being supplied with treated water from the Maludam Water Treatment Plant. Answering a further question on how he intends to manage the issues of supply shortages and low water pressure in Maludam and Triso, he said a short-term solution is being worked on by his team.
Satu projek jangka masa pendek yang disebut sebagai Proposed Performance-Based Contract for Short-Term Solution for Acute Water Supply Shortage for Maludam Water Treatment Plant for Betong Division telah pun dilaksanakan oleh pihak Kerajaan Sarawak. Untuk jawapan bagi soalan yang kedua, nilai projek tersebut iaitu projek untuk short term shortage for acute water supply untuk Maludam treatment water plant ini ialah berjumlah 10.25 juta ringgit. Kapasiti loji ini ialah sebanyak 4.5 juta liter sehari. Dan projek ini dijangkakan memberi manfaat kepada projek ini dijangkakan memberi manfaat kepada 1,174 isi rumah di kawasan Maludam dan Triso.
Coming up right after the break, PN will not cooperate with PH. An Indonesia earthquake death toll climbs to 268. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Awak datang ni nak apa?
Tadi dekat depan saya nampak ada tulis kerja kosong.
Ada bawa surat? Hei! Awak ingat saya ni tauki pajak gadai ke?
Alah cik, surat lain tak ada. Ini je ada. Cantik rumah cik Rumah ni berapa ribu Nak jual tak?
RM30,000.
Tunggu saya masuk getaran jiwa dulu.
Membawakan perkembangan terkini pilihan raya umum Malaysia ke-15.
Kupasan dan analisis isu semasa bersama pakar tempatan.
Menampilkan tetamu jemputan dalam industri.
Mengangkat aspirasi rakyat, suara anda kami dengar.
Perbincangan kami bawakan
Hingga malam penentuan siapakah yang bakal dipilih Mentadbir Negara. Seperti yang dapat dilihat di sini,
keadaannya lancar dan didapati
terdapat 539 pengundi melaksanakan tanggungjawab mereka membuang undi. Parlimen Kanoi diterajui dengan majoriti 12,328 undi.
Bersama kami dalam Malaysia Decides, hanya di TVS.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Dr. Sri Fatimah Abdullah said The state government has received approval from the Sabah and Sarawak State Security Working Committee, chaired by the Minister of Home Affairs on October 12, to establish the special task force to deal with the issue of stateless residents. Now, following that, the Sarawak government, in collaboration with the National Registration Department, formed the special task force on April 11, 2022.
Melalui semua pejabat daerah di Sarawak, PPK sedang mengumpul data dan maklumat terperinci untuk mengenal pasti penduduk Sarawak yang tidak mempunyai dokumen pengenalan diri sebelum PPK turun padang untuk operasi.
Fatimah said this when replying to Machan Assemblyman Alan Gramong during the State Legislative Assembly sitting on Tuesday. She further noted that her ministry has implemented a program to raise residents' awareness of arranged marriages with foreign nationals to ensure their children's citizenship status.
Kementerian kami juga telah menganjur berbagai program kesedaran dan advokasi tentang isu dokumen pengenalan diri di Sarawak. Sejak 2017, sebanyak 71 siri program telah dilaksanakan dalam kalangan komuniti yang rentan, khususnya di kawasan yang bersempadanan dengan negara jiran.
Pointing out that the government is concerned about Sarawak's residents facing problems with identification documents as they do not have access to educational, medical and welfare facilities. The task force was formed in response to the Malaysian Agreement Special Council meeting, MA63 decision, to address the issue of Sarawakians without citizenship.
Perikatan Nasional PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has expressed that the coalition will not cooperate with Pakatan Harapan PH in forming the new government. The Pago MP said that the coalition is firm in its stand to reject such cooperation, even though it was proposed by the young Deputan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilashah.
Earlier, Muhyiddin and PH Chairman Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim had an audience with His Majesty at the Istana Negara. Muhyiddin claimed that PN had submitted statutory declaration SD by 115 members of parliament to form a new government to Istana Negara on Monday. He further added that he also received an acknowledgement of receipt from Al-Sultan Abdullah's Senior Private Secretary, Colonel Datuk Nazim Muhammad Alim. The 15th general election resulted in a hung parliament after no single party or coalition managed to win a simple majority of 112 seats to form a new government.
The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has reminded social media users not to create hatred and provocation against the royal institution, race and religion. MCMC Interim Chairman Tan Sri Muhammad Salim Fateh said the public should exercise prudence when using social media and avoid expressing negative views involving race and religion.
He added that MCMC would continue monitoring to curb the spread of false and offensive statements involving the 3 R's, namely royalty, religion, and race. Noting that sharing any false, offensive, and threatening content is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, and if convicted, can be fined a maximum of 50,000 ringgit or jail for a year or both. Muhammad Salim said joint enforcement action with the Royal Malaysia Police would be taken against those involved based on complaints from members of the public in accordance with existing legal provisions to protect public order and interests. The public can report incidents or content that is inciting, provocative, or insulting to MCMC through the MCMC complaint portal or channel any information and fake news through https://sebenarnya.my/salur.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Awak datang ni nak apa?
Tadi dekat depan saya nampak ada tulis kerja kosong.
Ada bawa surat? Hei! Awak ingat saya ni tauki pajak gadai ke?
Alah cik, surat lain tak ada. Ini je ada. Cantik rumah cik Rumah ni berapa ribu Nak jual tak?
RM30,000.
Tunggu saya masuk getaran jiwa dulu.
Bawakan perkembangan terkini pilihan raya umum Malaysia ke-15.
Kupasan dan analisis isu semasa bersama pakar tempatan.
Menampilkan tetamu jemputan dalam industri.
Mengangkat aspirasi rakyat, suara anda kami dengar.
Perbincangan kami bawakan
Hingga malam penentuan siapakah yang bakal dipilih di Kabinet Negara. Seperti yang dapat dilihat di sini,
Keadaannya lancar dan didapati
terdapat 539 pengundi melaksanakan tanggungjawab mereka membuang undi. Parlimen Kanawin diterajui dengan majoriti 12,328 undi.
Bersama kami dalam Malaysia Decides, hanya di TVS.
Thank you for staying with me. And now on to our world affairs. A powerful earthquake has shaken Indonesia's main island of Java, killing 268 people and injuring hundreds of others, with rescuers continue to search for survivors trapped under the rubble after a series of aftershocks. The nation's disaster agency said the strong earthquake hit the West Java at 1:21 p.m. local time, home to more than 2.5 million people.
It was reported that the earthquake was felt in the capital Jakarta and other regions, including Rancaikek, South Tangerang, and Depok. West Java Governor Ridwan Kamil, when announcing the death toll in the remote area, said many of the dead were public school students who had finished their classes for the day and were taking extra lessons at several Islamic schools when they collapsed. The toll is expected to rise further, but no new estimates were immediately available. Kamil said that more than 13,000 people whose homes were heavily damaged were taken to evacuation centers. Rescuers were racing to unearth trapped victims under the rubble, with some residents trapped in isolated places. The epicenter of the shallow 5.6 magnitude quake was close to the town of Cianjur, where one resident told reporters that at least 6 of his relatives were still unaccounted for.
Ini keluarga saya semua, ibu di sini, paman, kakak-kakak, adik di sini. Ya rumahnya adik dengan kakak udah hilang, tinggal 5 orang tua saya dengan paman saya ini bisa sepotong, rumah saya ambruk. Yang adik kakakmu udah nggak ada rumahnya. Yang belum diketemukan 6 masih tertimbun ya Pak. Tiga dewasa, 3 balita. Itu gempa ambruk Pak. Ini kan kalau gempa aja hanya ginilah efeknya. Ini kan langsung longsor Pak. Ini daerah perumahan, ini ada 8 rumah di sini semuanya. Jadi langsung tersapu longsor.
The earthquake was felt strongly in the capital, Jakarta, some 75 kilometers away, and damaged at least 2,200 homes and displaced more than 5,000 people.
That's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Shel Shameto. Thank you for watching.